How did I get involved with Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? Well, I got a Facebook message from the late Brad Allan. Brad Allan is a veteran of the Jackie Chan Stunt Team. You may know him as the guy who fights Jackie in Gorgeous, the movie. For me to get a message from him, I was like, oh snap! But at the same time, it was Brad Allan with no Facebook profile picture. So I was like, is this guy even real? I'm gonna take my chances with it. So he told me, I got an opportunity for you. And if you're free, I would like to meet in Anaheim. I guess he was meeting in Anaheim because he was taking his family to Disneyland. Coincidentally, Disneyland was just right down the street from me. So I met him up at a restaurant in downtown Disney. I didn't believe it was him at first, but he walks in with like a hat. But then when he takes off his hat and his glasses, I'm like, just looking at this area, I'm like, yo, that is Brad Allan. So I flipped out and I sat down with him and I had lunch with Brad Allan. That's freaking crazy. So it's kind of like this, for me, I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, Jackie Chan Stunt Team, like, yo, with the Marshall Club, like, we're like the next generation. I'm like, dude, this is like the stars are aligning, right? And he talks to me about, yo, I'm working with Marvel on this project. And I was like, is it Shang Chi? You know, Marvel had already gotten the word out that they were gonna be making Shang Chi. So he asked me if I could help him work on the stunt team. I told him right off the bat, like, I've had my foot in the door and working as a stunt performer before. I knew really quickly that wasn't the career path for me. And that's not to downplay anything that stunt performers do. They put their lives on the line for us. They put their lives on the line to make the actors look good, and they make the movie. I just knew in my heart I wanted to do more. I wanted to show the world what I can do, and I wanted the world to see my face, which, quite funny enough, you didn't see my face in this film, but at least my name was behind it. I wanted to show the world what I can do, and Andy Lee is behind it. I agreed to help him, and he put me up to train Simu at first. So me and my brother Brian and DY, one of our other teammates, great martial artists, on-screen martial artists. Us three, we attacked this mission to train Simu, which is the upcoming star of Shang Chi. So we trained Simu for like, what, 2-3 months before shooting the movie. Brad always told me, he kept assuring me, as soon as there's a role that opens up, you know, he'll let me know. Of course I didn't expect anything, but one day he calls me and he's like, hey, casting opened up a role. This role is actually quite kind of tailored to you. Like, it's a ninja role. Your style of martial arts is very ninja. You got that ninja aesthetic with all the anime lines and everything. So like, I think this role is for you. I submitted, he put my name in, and I didn't think much of it because I've been shafted in this industry enough to not expect anything. I've been promised jobs all the time and it never goes through, so I didn't expect anything. And a couple weeks later, I get a call from casting and they're like, hey, we would like you to join us on Shang Chi and play this character, Death Dealer, and you don't need to audition. You're just gonna come and join us and have fun. And so that's how I ended up as the role of Death Dealer. How did I even prepare for the role to begin with? There was no preparation needed. To be honest, I train a lot. I love martial arts, I live it, I breathe it, and I keep my body in tip-top, dead-stop condition year-round. So when opportunities like this come by, I'm ready. The work was mainly in learning the choreography and rehearsing it, and trying to OP it, because Optimus Prime, the choreography in Martial Club, we use this term called OP, so Optimus Prime, to make it better. A lot of my time I spent in Australia was months and months of just rehearsal and choreography. The thing with working on a big industry, big budget film like this, you get time, and time is luxury, because with the time that we spent just constantly rehearsing and changing the choreography, the changes were for the better, and the more rehearsal you get in, the more in tune it becomes with your body. And once the movements become in tune with your body, it's kind of like practicing a form. You practice a punch enough, you learn how to do the punch from the technical standpoint. Once you master the punch, that's when your inner expression comes out, and that's what you need to capture on film. I jumped in and doubled for some of the other actors as well. I doubled for young Shang Chi in the training montage. If you guys have seen the movie, I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you do and you watch the training montage, there's like a Fist of Fury-esque type training scene where young Shang fights off like 10 guys. And very similar to our Fist of Fury that we shot on our Martial Club channel. I've doubled a little bit and then we rehearse and just try to OP that one fight between Shang Chi and the Death Dealer. At the end of the day, every work day, I always went back and I always made sure to train every single day, because martial arts is the root of everything. I wouldn't be involved in this industry if it weren't for martial arts. I put myself in this industry to put martial arts on the map. That's been my mission, so I always went back to the roots at the end of every day and made sure I got my training in. For me, the most memorable moment working on this project was rubbing shoulders with a lot of the Hong Kong and Kung Fu veterans that I grew up watching. A lot of you know Tony Leung's a part of this film, Michelle Yeoh, and if you've seen the film, you'll know that Yuen Wah is in it. Marvel, they dug deep and casted a lot of the veterans for this theme, for this Kung Fu themed movie. And just from a lot of these veterans, they had an impact on me growing up, and I grew up watching a lot of them. And I would just remember there was one specific moment one day. It was me, Michelle Yeoh, and Yuen Wah sitting together in a green room waiting as they were setting up shots, and I'm like, wow, I'm sitting in a green room on cast chairs amongst, you know, the greats that I grew up watching. And for me to think that I watched you on screen, and now I have the privilege of sharing the screen with you. And it's just, you know, great reminder for me that, you know, I'm doing the right thing. Something I noticed with action in the film industry, it recycles, it cycles and repeats itself. If you remember in the early 2000s, like The Matrix was a big deal. And like Yuen Woo-ping, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, they were hot stuff. And then later it kind of gravitated towards, you know, like the Dark Knight, realism started to become a thing in action. And then Marvel movies with the spectacles, and then John Wick comes along with the jiu-jitsu and the guns. Now I think with this film, Shang-Chi, it's bringing back Kung Fu and martial arts. This has always been a mission for Martial Club since day one, was to put martial arts back on the map. And the fact that this film did it and that I had my name tied to it, I couldn't be more grateful. I think it's our job as a new generation not to just do the Kung Fu, do the martial arts, and pay respects to the veterans that came before us. I think it's also our job to elevate it. The further this movement progresses, I promise you that Martial Club will be there every freaking step of the way, and that we will be the ones, we will be at the forefront, we will be the ones to elevate it. You best believe that, mark my words. And if you don't believe me, 10 years from now, check back at this interview and see what happens.